Live, local, late breaking. This is WLKY News at 5.
We got a lot of good things going. We got to win this race to keep them going.
We're going to have a new governor on November 7th here in Kentucky.
Right now at 5, Election Day optimism in Kentucky and Indiana, but the voters have the final say. We'll highlight several races, including the Kentucky governor's race. Good evening, I'm Rick Van Hoos.
And I'm Jennifer Bayless. It is Election Day, and you have 1 hour left to vote in Kentucky and Indiana. A reminder, though, if you are in line at 6 o'clock, you will be allowed to vote.
Yeah. And while there are a lot of races on the ballot in Kentucky, there are some big ones. That includes the race for governor, which is a dead heat, according to the latest poll. This race is getting national attention as well.
And we have live team coverage for you all around the region. Randall Cam is in southern Indiana looking at the race for New Albany mayor. Alexis Matthews is looking at voter turnout in Jefferson County.
But as I mentioned, we want to start with that race for governor in Kentucky. Drew Gardner is covering the Daniel Cameron campaign. He's trying to unseat incumbent Andy Beshear. And Mark Vanderhoff is live with the Beshear camp in Paristown. We'll start with him. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Rick, Jennifer. You know, the general public's not here yet, but there is a lot of press, including national media, and that's because the nation is watching this race. Many consider it a bellwether for the 2024 presidential election. Andy Beshear may be a Democrat running in a red state, but he does have the power of incumbency. His campaign message has been to play up the record number of jobs announcements and economic investment during his term and play down party politics, noting in every speech that bridges are neither red nor blue. Here's what he said at his final campaign stop yesterday in Louisville.
Folks, we are coming off the 2 best years of economic development in the history of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. We've made announcements in every part of this state and now in every neighborhood of this city, recently announcing 350 new jobs at $30 an hour in the west end of Louisville.
Now, in order for Beshear to win, he's going to need 2 things. He's going to need major turnout from his own party, and he's going to need a large portion of the independent and swing voters. Live at Paris Town Hall, Mark Vanderhoff, WLKY News.
All right, thank you, Mark. And now let's go to Drew Gardner with the Cameron campaign.
He's live at the Marriott downtown where Republicans are holding their watch party tonight. Hi, Drew.
Well, good evening, Jennifer and Rick. Right now, it is mostly press that is here assembled at the Marriott. But later on tonight, we're going to see all of the Republican candidates on the ticket tonight as the results come in. Our cameras were with Cameron and his wife, Mackenzie, as they cast their ballots this morning at Wilder Elementary. Now, if elected, the Attorney General will make history tonight as the first Black Kentuckian elected to the governor's office. His 2019 win over Democrat Greg Stumbo made him the first Black person to be elected to a statewide office in Kentucky and marked the first time a Republican won the AG's office since back in the 1940s. Now, during his tenure as Attorney General, Cameron took on Beshear and his administration many times over his pandemic policies, which became a cornerstone of his campaign for governor. It's something he leaned into heavily during his final campaign speech last night in E-Town.
I think it's crazy to have a governor here in Kentucky who would shut down your small businesses, your schools, and your churches. But one of the greatest and proudest moments I had as Attorney General was getting our team into federal court and after 9 days, getting churches reopened in the Commonwealth of Kentucky.
Now, things here will officially get underway at the Republican Party headquarters in just under an hour when we start to see those first results coming in. And coming up at 6 o'clock tonight, I will talk with Senate President Robert Stivers about his thoughts going into tonight. For now, we are live at the Marriott downtown. Drew Gardner, WLKY News.
Thank you, Drew. And there are other big statewide races in Kentucky. Pamela Stevenson and Russell Coleman are trying to replace Cameron as Attorney General. Stevenson is the Democratic candidate. She is a retired military or JAG attorney who now serves in Kentucky's House of Representatives. Coleman is a Republican who served as U.S. Attorney for the Western District of Kentucky during former President Donald Trump's tenure.
In the race for Secretary of State, Republican incumbent Michael Adams is facing Democratic challenger Buddy Wheatley, who is an attorney and former state lawmaker. There is also the race for Agriculture Commissioner. Democrat Sierra Inlow and Republican Jonathan Schell are each trying to replace outgoing Commissioner Ryan Quarles.
There's also the race for Auditor. Republican Allison Ball and Democrat Kim Reeder. Another race for State Treasurer. Michael Bowman is the Democratic candidate and Martin Metcalf is the Republican candidate. There are also 3 races for Louisville's Metro Council.
District 3 includes parts of Park Hill, Shively, and PRP. That race features Democrat Shamika Parrish-Wright and Independent Gibran Crook. District 6 is the seat for the former Metro Council President David James, who left to work on the mayor's administration. The district includes Old Louisville and parts of Park Hill and Germantown. Democrat Philip Baker was appointed to temporarily serve. He is running against Republican Judy Stollard.
There's also a special election for District 8, which includes the Highlands. Democrat Ben Reno Weber was appointed to the seat in March after Cassie Chambers Armstrong was elected to the state Senate. He is facing Republican Phil Hamming. The polls are still open for the next hour or so, except at 2 locations in Louisville, which are staying open an extra 30 minutes.
A judge ordered the polls at Blue Lick Elementary and Highland Baptist Church to stay open until 6:30. This is in response to a police incident nearby that shut those locations down for 30 minutes this morning.
Voter turnout is expected to be significant despite it being a non-presidential election. WLKY's Alexis Matthews talked to those voters and joins us live from Lincoln Elementary, one of those polling locations. Alexis?
Well, Jennifer, Rick, foot traffic is slowing down here at Lincoln Elementary, which is one of more than 200 polling locations in Jefferson County. But the county clerk's office expects voter turnout to compare to years past. Now, election officials tell us they are anticipating a 48% voter turnout, which is on course with the 2019 off-year election. And again, we do not have exact voter turnout numbers for today, but early in-person voting saw nearly 45,000 people soar to the polls in Jefferson County, and throughout the state, more than 260,000 voters utilized early voting, and that's according to the Secretary of State's office. Now, voters I talked to today tell me that with several important state and local races on the ballot, it was crucial for them to come out and make their voices heard.
It always makes me feel good to vote because elections do have consequences, and I want to make sure that I do my part.
We got to get out here. Because if we don't, we ain't getting nowhere. And without voting, you ain't gonna get nowhere.
Now, polls do close tonight at 6, with the exception of those 2 polling locations mentioned earlier that will close at 6:30. And of course, we'll have those election results for you this evening on air, online, and on our WLKY mobile app. Live at Lincoln Elementary, I'm Alexis Matthews, WLKY News.
And on the other side of the river, the race for New Albany mayor is a contest getting a lot of attention in southern Indiana tonight.
Yeah, Republican state lawmaker Ed Clear is challenging incumbent Democratic Mayor Jeff Gahan. WLKY's Randall Cam is at the polling place in Floyd County with a look at the race and voter turnout so far. Randall?
And Rick, pretty steady turnout here at the New Albany High School voting location. You can see some of the voting booths there behind me. Folks still casting their ballots at this hour, and we expect even more activity in the next hour or so as folks get off work and come out here, rush out to cast their ballots. In the meantime, now officials at this polling place tell me turnout has been good for a non-presidential year. More than 400 people have voted here at New Albany High, and more than 700 voters have cast their ballots over at the 4-H Fairgrounds.
And there's some new faces and new parties that are running for city clerk and for city council. So that's drawn a lot of interest too.
Combined with the mayor's race?
Combined with the mayor's race, yeah.
Yep. And about that mayor's race, it's the one bringing the most folks out to vote this evening. The incumbent, Jeff Gahan, has been the mayor here in New Albany since 2012. He is seeking his 4th term, but is being challenged by Republican State Rep Ed Clear. He represents Floyd County in southern Indiana, and he is also a member of the Indiana General Assembly. So, both well-known names. It'll be interesting to see what happens out here tonight. We'll let you know. But for now, in New Albany, I'm Randall Cam, WLKY News.
All right, thank you, Randall. And people in Charlestown, Indiana are also voting on mayor. Democrat Treva Hodges is running for a second term, while Republican Ruth Jackson is running against her. She is the city council president.
If you need help finding your polling place, just go to our voter guide on WLKY.com or use our free mobile app, and we'll bring you election results, of course, throughout the evening here on WLKY and online as well. Remember, polls close at 6. Well, the weather's been picture perfect, really, for you to get out there and vote.
Jay nailed it again. Cardosi is here with us to tell us how long the warm temperatures will stick around. What do you say, Jay?
All right, Rick, Jennifer, thanks so very much. Yeah, I tell you what, temperatures well above average again into the 70s on this election day. And we're going to do it all over again tomorrow. If anything, it's going to get even warmer tomorrow with near record warmth, a pretty good possibility. Let's talk about what we have outside right now. Certainly mostly cloudy skies over the metro. Way out there on the southern horizon, a few breaks, but it has been a dry afternoon, and wow, it's been a beautiful afternoon temperature-wise. 74 degrees as you walk outside right now. The humidity, 56%. The wind is light. That is just adding to what's already been a fantastic afternoon, right? All right, as far as other temperatures go, lots of low 70s top to bottom across the region, as warm as 75 in Bedford, not far behind Columbia on the flip side of the viewing area, coming in at 74. I mean, that's nice stuff. Radar scan, pretty much clear out there despite those clouds, and overall, I think we'll hold on to mainly dry skies tonight and also tomorrow. Here's that evening forecast. Again, the next hour or so, if you're still heading to the polls, warm weather, low 70s, lower 70s right through 8 o'clock, and then we'll bounce back into the mid and upper 60s after that. Hey, one thing I do want to show you, look what's happening off to the west of us. So we have 74. Look at all the 80s out this way. Well, that's what's pushing in our direction for tomorrow. Wow. We'll talk about how long that near summer-like air mass is going to stick around, and look ahead to the upcoming weekend. Why not, right? There's always a weekend on the 7-day. That's coming up in the next check of weather, guys.
All right, Jay, thank you. A police chase overnight ends with a deadly crash on I-65. We'll explain how it all happened and why 2 people are now in custody.
And we're getting our first look at body camera video from a Louisville police shooting, what it shows in the moments before shots were fired. That's next on the News at 5.
Subway is now slicing their deli meats fresh. That's why the garlic roast beef is preferred by this QB.
And preferred by QBs with some beef, like us.
And if we prefer it, we know you'll prefer it too. Wait, we have beef?
So much beef.
Right now, get a free footlong at Subway. Like the new Deli Heroes. Buy 1 footlong in the app, get 1 free.
It's a pretty big deal.
Kinda like me. Order in the Subway app today.
Things always break at the worst time. So when your heat goes out, you need help now. Call Bryant.com. We'll fix what's not working and get you back to what's important in life for all your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric needs.
Call Bryant.com.
Brakes for less. If you have the squeal, we have the deal. All 4 wheels for $199. Why do customers choose us? Our fast in and out service. Our upfront approach. We only fix what your vehicle needs. Our premium parts. You won't find better value for your money. It's simple. All we do are brakes. Don't forget, get us your keys by 4:30 and your brakes are done today. Brakes for less. Make an appointment online. Give us a call or just walk in.
This holiday, when you give love, you can't go wrong. With Zales jewelry that's made to love and made to last. Love real. Zales.
Shopping Kia Telluride? Compare it with Ford Explorer. It has intelligent 4-wheel drive with terrain management system. Explorer offers an easy entry second row and power fold seats in the third row. Telluride doesn't have either one. Explorer has more horsepower and torque than Telluride. Active Park Assist 2.0 takes the challenge out of parking with just the touch of a button. Telluride doesn't have it. Ford Explorer.
There are stories of joy, adventure, and triumph.
Discover these stories and the moments that bring us all together on Stitch, now streaming on Very Local.
You're watching WLKY News.
LMPD released body camera video from a recent police shooting in the California neighborhood.
The video shows the moments before the shooting as officers responded to a report of a home break-in, as well as what led up to the shots being fired. WLKY's Jamie Mays has the story.
Last month, officers shot a man after they say he broke into a home here near 26th and Garland. LMPD has released body cam footage showing what led up to the shooting.
Put the gun down!
It's always a shame and a tragedy when we have to shoot someone, but in this type of situation, this is what that's reserved for, is when you're protecting the lives of others.
Deputy Chief Paul Humphrey says swift action from LMPD officers helped keep a local family safe. On October 24th, in the early morning hours, ShotSpotter detected shots fired on Garland Avenue. Officer Holman, who was off duty at the time, responded. A woman later called 911, alerting dispatch a stranger had broken into her home. She had barricaded herself inside a bedroom with her 2 young children, ages 2 and 6. As more officers arrived, they tried to get 38-year-old Sylvester Price out the home.
Stay right there. Show me your hands, though.
LMPD says Price broke out a side window and took off running. Officers surrounded him in a neighboring yard and told him repeatedly to drop the gun.
Put the gun down and we will help you.
But police say Price took off again before stopping in the middle of 26th Street and pointing a gun at officers. Officers opened fire, hitting Price.
The subject pointed the gun at officers several times, even prior to the point where officers did shoot him.
Humphrey says Holman and the other responding officers helped keep the family safe.
This could have turned out much, much worse than it did, and we're very, very grateful to those officers and what they did to protect that family.
Jamie Mays, WLKY News.
LMPD says that Price remains in critical but stable condition. He's facing charges for burglary, wanton endangerment, and resisting arrest.
Today, Breonna Taylor's neighbor described the moment he woke up to a loud boom and a barrage of gunfire in the night of Taylor's death. Cody Etherton testified in court this morning on day 7 of the federal trial of former LMPD Detective Brett Hankison. Hankison is facing civil rights violations related to the deadly raid at Taylor's apartment in March of 2020. Investigators say he fired shots blindly into her apartment and Etherton's apartment next door. Etherton testified bullets came flying through his home that night, and one came within inches of his face. He said he's been diagnosed twice with PTSD from the night of the shooting. Jurors also heard from an LMPD officer who responded to the scene after Taylor was shot. And former LMPD Chief Steve Conrad is testifying right now.
A man and woman are in custody tonight after a high-speed police chase and crash in southern Indiana. A state trooper was injured in the crash on I-65 South in Clark County, and UPS truck driver was killed during a second crash as a result of that backup. WLKY's Addie Miners explains how this all unfolded.
Just after midnight, Scott County police officers began chasing a driver they say was going 120 miles per hour on I-65 South.
Our officers were waiting here in Clark County with stop sticks. The vehicle did strike stop sticks, continued south, but still at a high rate of speed. He'd only slowed down to about 80 miles per hour, roughly.
Indiana State Police Sergeant Kerry Hull says the driver then hit a state trooper who was sitting in his patrol car.
Our trooper was injured and taken to University Hospital with a minor head injury. He's since been released, so we're thankful for that.
Police arrested 27-year-old Dylan Taylor of Charlestown. He was booked into the Clark County Jail on several charges, including criminal recklessness and driving on a suspended license. ISP says Taylor was driving with a child and a woman in the car. Police say the woman had a warrant out for her arrest and was also booked into the Clark County Jail. Police say after the crash, the suspect took off on foot and was hiding somewhere near the Sportsdrome Speedway near I-65 until police eventually were able to catch up with him and arrest him. While police were investigating the initial crash, a UPS semi-truck driver slammed into 3 other stopped semi-trucks and caught fire.
Don't know exactly what happened, but apparently didn't see the stopped traffic. Don't believe that he slowed down. struck that third semi-truck in the back, and that resulted in a fatality of that driver.
A passenger in the sleeper cabin of the semi was taken to University Hospital and is in stable condition. Sergeant Holes says police chases have increased across the state, and while he believes troopers did everything right Tuesday morning, they are training to better handle these types of pursuits.
We are training for more techniques in the future, including the pit maneuver for all troopers to be trained in that to help prevent these from happening and escalating.
In Clark County, I'm Addie Miners, WLKY News.
And I-65 was shut down for almost 7 hours this morning while police investigated both crashes. All lanes are back open at this time.
LG&E crews are still working to repair pipes following a gas leak. WLKY News chopper was above the scene this morning on Old Henry Road. It happened just after 9 o'clock, not far from the Gene Snyder Freeway. LG&E says an excavator not employed by the company damaged 2 pipes. We're told 3 nearby homes are affected. Repairs are expected to be finished later today. A woman admitted her role in the death of a little boy whose body was found stuffed in a suitcase in southern Indiana. Don Coleman pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit murder. The body of 5-year-old Cairo Jordan was found in April of 2022. Jordan's cause of death was actually ruled an electrolyte imbalance. Coleman admitted to helping the boy's mother, Deshaun Anderson, dump his body in a rural area of Washington County. Coleman will be formally sentenced later this month. Police are still looking for Anderson.
Coming up, Kentucky and Indiana voters aren't the only ones going to the polls today. A look at the other hotly contested races across the country. That's ahead on WLKY News.
All right, as you know, lots of warm weather on this Election Day Tuesday. We've had a mix of clouds and sunshine. Matter of fact, live look outside right now from the Jefferson Animal Hospital's camera off the outer loop, holding on to mostly cloudy skies, but look how warm it is. 74 degrees, and get ready. We're talking even warmer conditions tomorrow. Near record warmth, the possibility. More on the 7-day forecast. It's coming up next.
We're loving it. Thanks, Jay. And let's look at the lottery jackpots. Tonight's Mega Millions is $196 million. And the Powerball, they caught up as well. The Powerball is now worth $196 million. That will be up on the line tomorrow on Wednesday.
Subway is now slicing their deli meats fresh. That's why the garlic roast beef is preferred by this QB.
And preferred by QBs with some beef, like us.
And if we prefer it, we know you'll prefer it too. Wait, we have beef?
So much beef.
Right now, get a free footlong at Subway. Like the new Deli Heroes. Buy 1 footlong in the app, get 1 free.
It's a pretty big deal.
Kinda like me. Order in the Subway app today.
You get regular checkups on things that are important to you. So what's more important than your home comfort? Call Bryant.com. With regular maintenance, we can help prevent untimely breakdowns. Schedule your preventative maintenance. Just $80.
Call Bryant.com. Brakes for less. If you have the squeal, we have the deal. All 4 wheels for $199. Why do customers choose us? Our fast in and out service. Our upfront approach. We only fix what your vehicle needs. Our premium parts. You won't find better value for your money. It's simple. All we do are brakes. Don't forget, get us your keys by 4:30 and your brakes are done today. Brakes for less. Make an appointment online. Give us a call or just walk in.
This holiday, when you give love, you can't go wrong. With Zales jewelry that's made to love and made to last. Love real. Zales.
Looking at the competition? Let me show you how the Bronco Sport stacks up. The Bronco Sport has a terrain management system with 7 available goat modes. That means goes over any type of terrain, sand, mud, ruts, or any mix of them. I have a lot of gear. The Bronco Sport has a lot of room. With an available 65 cubic feet of cargo space, nothing gets left behind. If you're still thinking about the competition, you're going to want to check out the Bronco Sport.
We've got flames, we've got danger, we have pillows. And along the way, we'll make some new, very local friends. This is Eat, Play, Stay. Only on Very Local.
Well, stocks ticked higher on Wall Street today. The Dow closed up 56 points, the Nasdaq was up 121 points, and the S&P was up 12.
Now, your WLKY weather with Chief Meteorologist Jay Cardosi.
Temperatures also up quite a bit. We topped out at 77 degrees today officially in town. And I think we're going to be even warmer as we move into tomorrow afternoon. Right now, live look downtown Louisville from our tower cam right here on Millwood Avenue. It's mostly cloudy, but boy, it's comfortable, isn't it? 74 degrees, humidity 56%, the wind very, very light, just 3 miles per hour from the west right now. Let's go around the city, around the metro. The range is 70 in Shively, up to 74 at the International Airport. Everybody else, boy, we're talking everybody, 73 degrees. That's a popular number. Let's pull out and take a look at the viewing area. Wow, is it nice, top to bottom, west to east. The range right now is 70. Madison, North Vernon, actually several locations, up to 75 in Greensburg. Downstate Kentucky, it is wonderful out there. Going to stay this way as we roll through the evening. So any outdoor plans? Maybe grilling out? Who knows, right? Looks pretty good right now. We've seen a mix of clouds and sunshine on this Election Day Tuesday. There is a frontal system draped right across the region. It's actually just north of the metro, and it is going to turn around and start pushing back off to the north overnight through tomorrow morning. So this evening, we're just fine. Some passing clouds, don't get me wrong, but it does look dry and very, very comfortable temperature-wise with low 70s through 8 o'clock, and then we'll slip slowly into the middle and upper 60s after that. Look what's happening off to the west, and this is right now, mind you. We have the 74, it's 77 St. Louis. Then you get into these 80s. Well, this is the air mass pushing in our direction. At least for one day tomorrow, we're going to have that little touch of summertime in the air during the afternoon. You're going to wake up to a few clouds with temperatures in the 50s to near 60, 62 the expected low in town. But watch what happens as we roll through your Wednesday. Any clouds in the morning, scour out. We'll go partly to mostly sunny midday through the afternoon. And with a rather gusty southwesterly breeze, those temperatures are going to jump. Low 80s expected. And by the way, tomorrow's record high, 82. We have a good shot at getting there. 82 degrees set back in 2020, 3 years ago. Here's the forecast for tomorrow. So again, 62 in the morning, 80 in the afternoon with that near record warmth. We'll take you out the next 3 days. We'll have some clouds around Thursday morning, then afternoon sunshine. It will be cooler. A front will have shifted through, so temperatures will be holding in the low and middle 60s on Thursday. Couple of showers are likely late Thursday night into Friday morning to the south of the metro. It looks like the metro is going to come out of this thing basically dry. Again, best chances south of Louisville. 62 your high Friday. Right now the weekend still looks delightful. A nice autumn weekend, cooler, upper 50s and low 60s, but light wind, lots of sunshine will make it feel very, very nice for any outdoor plans, both Saturday and also Sunday.
I'll take it.
It's a nice 7-day forecast.
Yeah, absolutely. Perfect. All right, thank you, Jay.
There is always a need for poll workers. One local man has been volunteering as an election worker for 7 years. Why, he says he is fulfilling a duty. That's next on the news at 5:30.
Subway is now slicing their deli meats fresh. That's why the garlic roast beef is preferred by this QB.
And preferred by QBs with some beef, like us.
And if we prefer it, we know you'll prefer it too. Wait, we have beef?
So much beef.
Right now, get a free footlong at Subway. Like the new Deli Heroes. Buy 1 footlong in the app, get 1 free.
It's a pretty big deal.
Kinda like me. Order in the Subway app today.
Things always break at the worst time. So when your heat goes out, you need help now. Call Bryant.com. We'll fix what's not working and get you back to what's important in life for all your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric needs.
Call Bryant.com. This year, Bunny Slope will undergo a complete rebranding so that we can become...
Done. I just hired a freelance brand designer in Fiverr. She's got lots of experience with this kind of thing.
Great. We're also going to launch an e-commerce website.
Done. I found a web developer.
And we're going to
and a social media manager and an SEO expert.
Well, I guess that's lunch.
This year, your best business plan is Fiverr. Expand your team with a talented freelancer. And
done.
You're watching WLKY News.
The polls are still open for the next 30 minutes, except 2 locations in Louisville, Blue Lick Elementary and Highland Baptist Church, which are staying open until 6:30.
Voter turnout is expected to be significant, despite it being a non-presidential election. And WLKY's Alexis Matthews talked to those voters, joins us live now from Lincoln Elementary, one of those polling locations. Alexis?
Well, Jennifer, Rick, some voters are still trickling in here to cast their ballot at Lincoln Elementary, which is one of more than 200 polling locations in Jefferson County. And the county clerk's office does expect voter turnout to compare to years past. Now, election officials tell us they are anticipating a 48% voter turnout, which is on par with the 2019 off-year election. And again, we don't have those exact voter turnout numbers for you today at this moment, but early in-person voting saw nearly 45,000 people soar to the polls here in Jefferson County. And throughout Kentucky, more than 260,000 voters utilized early voting. Now, voters I spoke to today tell me the process to make their voices heard took mere minutes, which they say is crucial with key state and local races on the ballot.
5 minutes, all it takes. 5 minutes out of your day, go vote. Because we need it.
Perfectly easy. I mean, it was, everything was smooth. Everything was perfect except for her. So you should talk about how you went to the wrong place.
Right. We're on our way to the right one. We just turned a little early.
Now, polls do close today at 6, with the exception of those 2 polling locations that will be staying open an extra 30 minutes, as we mentioned earlier. And of course, we'll have those election results for you later this evening right here on WLKY. Live at Lincoln Elementary for you tonight, I'm Alexis Matthews, WLKY News.
Thank you, Alexis. And the biggest race on the ballot in Kentucky is for governor.
The incumbent is Democrat Andy Beshear. He is running for another term against Attorney General Republican Daniel Cameron. He voted this morning at Wilder Elementary in Louisville. Beshear voted last Thursday, which was the first day of early voting.
And volunteers from the NAACP were busy on the phones today, encouraging people to get out and vote. They were also answering questions about polling locations and even offered rides to the polls if anyone needed it. Members of the national organization called Transformative Justice Coalition are also in town. The nonpartisan nonprofit group works to ensure everyone who wants to vote is able to cast a ballot.
And we're trying to make sure that every voter has a right to cast their ballot during this election. So that's in addition to giving people a ride to the poll, answering, telling them where their polling place is, and calling them and encouraging them to vote.
And again, a reminder, polls close at 6. If you are in line at 6 o'clock, you are allowed to vote. And across the country, there's a need for election workers.
The Kentucky Board of Elections says that county clerks are always in need of responsible registered voters to serve as precinct election officers. WLKY's Madison Elliott spoke to one worker who encourages others to get involved.
Starting at 6 a.m. at this polling location, people were lined outside the door waiting to cast their ballot on Tuesday morning. A busy morning on Election Day, as many people lined up at Jefferson County Traditional Middle School in the Highlands to cast their ballot.
I don't think that people realize how historically significant it is that we actually have the right to come out every single time and choose our leaders.
For 7 years, Kevin Burrows has not only voted, he's volunteered to work the polls as an election officer. It's something he also describes as a duty.
My mother was doing it when I was a kid, and that's, to me, you're out there to help people, and that's what we're here for.
Finding and keeping poll workers like Burrows has become harder in recent years. A report from the National Conference of State Legislatures says recruiting and retaining poll workers is a long-standing issue that's gotten worse over the years. The Director of Communications and Public Relations for the Jefferson County Clerk's Office says they can't run elections without them.
They're there to check in the voters, make sure that they're in their correct precinct polling location. They're there to issue ballots, and they're there to make sure that the ballots run through the electronic counting machines correctly.
The report found election officials face 3 major problems in recruitment and retaining poll workers. 1, poll worker pay. 2, the requirement for political balance among poll workers. Last, poll workers face threats and harassment. But Burrows isn't deterred. And while he's retired now, he previously used vacation days to work the polls. He says he's passionate about serving the community in this way.
Because if you don't work the elections or if you don't vote, you have no voice.
Madison Elliott, WLKY News.
Do a good job. Cynthia always greets me at my polling place with a smile. If you are interested in signing up to be a poll worker for the future elections, you can head to the Kentucky State Board of Elections website, a link that is on WLKY.com.
And many of those races in southern Indiana will focus on town and city leadership. People in New Albany and Charlestown are voting for mayor. In New Albany, Democrat Jeff Gahan is seeking a 4th term. Republican Ed Clear has been a state lawmaker since 2008, representing the House district that includes New Albany. Voters are also electing city council members. In Charlestown, Democrat Treva Hodges is running for a 2nd term, while Republican Ruth Jackson is running against her. She is the city council president.
Voters lined up across Ohio where they are weighing whether women should have the legal right to an abortion. The ballot measure, known as Issue 1, seeks to enshrine reproductive rights in the state's constitution. The proposal would only allow the state to ban abortion after viability, which doctors generally consider to be around 22 to 24 weeks, except when it is necessary to protect the life and health of the mother. But opponents of Issue 1 say it is dangerous to have abortion rights in the state constitution.
Issue 1, very pro-choice. I think every woman should have that opportunity to choose what's best for them. I will likely start a family in the near future, and I don't want to think what if something would go wrong and not being able to make the choice that's best for me and my family.
Very pro-life, having just lots of experience over the years with family members. It's really important to me.
And then anything else, message to your fellow voters as we go on today?
Yeah, absolutely. However you're going to vote, get out and vote today.
Ohio is the only state to consider a statewide abortion rights question this year.
In Virginia, the Republican governor urged people to vote with all 140 General Assembly seats on the ballot. Glenn Youngkin is looking for a GOP lock on the state house, but Virginia Democrats say giving Republicans full control will lead to rollbacks of rights.
They've taken us backwards on reproductive health care. They're taking us backwards on gun violence prevention. That is their goal.
I will support one bill that will protect life at 15 weeks, a bill that will have exceptions for rape and incest and when the life of the mother is at risk.
And political watchers say a strong showing for Republicans in Virginia could boost Youngkin's prospects as a late entry into the 2024 presidential race.
In Mississippi, Republican Governor Tate Reeves is seeking re-election against Democratic challenger Brandon Presley. Name sound familiar? Well, he is the cousin of rock and roll legend Elvis Presley. Be sure to stay with WLKY all night for your election results. We will bring them to you throughout the evening here on WLKY and online as well. Remember, polls close at 6 o'clock.
Okay, how about this beautiful weather that just rolls on as we move through early November. Now, there's a live look. That's the Tri-Mark camera network. Portions of 64 adjacent to the Ohio River, passing underneath the 9th Street overpass there. And it's just been a delightful day, hasn't it? Even with a few clouds every so often. The numbers way up there again, middle, even upper 70s across the region. Right now, of course, dry pavement. If you're getting a late start, you still have to go out and vote. You have a little bit more time. Hurry, right? No rain expected. It will stay dry. It will stay on the warm side like it is right now. 74 degrees, the humidity, 56%, the wind. Nice and light as well, just adding to what's already been such a nice afternoon. Radar scan, even though we've got the clouds overhead, nothing showing up. We have a clean sweep all directions. We'll hold on to the dry skies this evening and through the overnight. This evening's forecast, low 70s through 8 o'clock. We'll slip into the upper 60s, 9 and 10 o'clock. And just like this morning, tomorrow morning, bus stop weather, it's going to be nice and mild again. A few passing clouds. We'll be in the 50s in the outlying regions to right around 62 in the city. But get ready. We're going to have a summer feel to the air tomorrow. We'll talk about how long that warm weather will last on your 7-day. Guys, that is coming up next.
I'm excited about just taking a walk tomorrow.
Oh, it's going to be delightful. Yeah.
Thank you, Jay. Supreme Court heard a major case today involving gun rights and domestic violence protections. A look at the arguments and what's at stake coming up.
For the first time in decades, Israeli troops are in Gaza City 1 month following Hamas's deadly attack. We will detail the hostage crisis as families plead for their release. That's next on WLKY News.
Subway is now slicing their deli meats fresh. That's why the garlic roast beef is preferred by this QB.
And preferred by QBs with some beef, like us.
And if we prefer it, we know you'll prefer it too. Wait, we have beef?
So much beef.
Right now, get a free footlong at Subway. Like the new Deli Heroes. Buy 1 footlong in the app, get 1 free.
It's a pretty big deal.
Kinda like me. Order in the Subway app today.
Things always break at the worst time. So when your heat goes out, you need help now. Call Bryant.com. We'll fix what's not working and get you back to what's important in life for all your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric needs.
Call Bryant.com.
Dinner, check. Cleanup, check. No mess, no stress with Reynolds Kitchens.
This holiday, when you give love, you can't go wrong. With Zales jewelry that's made to love and made to last. Love real. Zales.
Looking at the competition? Let me show you how the Bronco Sport stacks up. The Bronco Sport has a terrain management system with 7 available goat modes. That means goes over any type of terrain, sand, mud, ruts, or any mix of them. I have a lot of gear. The Bronco Sport has a lot of room. With an available 65 cubic feet of cargo space, nothing gets left behind. If you're still thinking about the competition, you're going to want to check out the Bronco Sport.
They're stories of joy, adventure, and triumph. Discover these stories and the moments that bring us all together on Stitch, now streaming on Very Local.
You're watching WLKY News.
Today marks 1 month since Hamas carried out its terror attacks in Israel. And today, Israeli Defense Forces released video showing the destruction of a tunnel in Gaza, which they said was a Hamas structure. Israel continues to reject calls for a ceasefire until Hamas releases the hostages. Relatives of some of the 240 held captive visited lawmakers in Washington to share their stories. This man's 9-year-old cousin is among the hostages.
Ohad had a birthday 2 weeks ago. He's a smart, sweet boy. He shouldn't spend his 9th birthday in captivity. He should not be in captivity at all. No kid should and no civilian should.
Well, in Tel Aviv, Israelis held a moment of silence to mark 1 month since the attacks, remembering the 1,400 killed and the hostages waiting to come home. The Supreme Court heard arguments today in a case that pits gun rights against a federal law that seeks to protect victims of domestic violence.
This is the first major gun case to come up since the Supreme Court issued a new standard on judging the constitutionality of gun regulations. Natalie Brand has more from Washington.
What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! Outside the U.S. Supreme Court, a call to keep guns out of the hands of domestic abusers.
What is at stake in this case?
A million gazillion lives of men, women, and children.
Amanda King told us she nearly lost her life to an abusive husband.
I was in shock. I couldn't believe that he just shot me in the back of the head.
She's among the women who shared their stories while arguments unfolded inside the U.S. Supreme Court.
Guns and domestic abuse are a deadly combination. As this court has said, all too often, the only difference between a battered woman and a dead woman is the presence of a gun.
Lawyers for 23-year-old Zaki Rahimi are challenging the constitutionality of the 1994 law that led to his indictment for possessing a firearm while having a restraining order against him. He was arrested after shooting his gun in public 5 different times.
You don't have any doubt that your client's a dangerous person, do you?
Your Honor, I would want to know what dangerous person means.
Well, I mean, someone who's shooting, at people, that's a good start.
The Biden administration argues that last year's Supreme Court decision in the U.S. versus Bruin case has muddied the waters. That ruling said history and tradition should determine whether laws regulating firearms are constitutional.
Once the court corrects the misinterpretation of Bruin, then I think the constitutional principle is clear. You can disarm dangerous persons.
Legal analysts say a majority of justices appears poised to uphold the law to protect victims of domestic violence. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the Supreme Court.
And the decision in the case is not expected until June.
A new report shows U.S. consumers are still racking up credit card debt. The Federal Reserve Bank of New York says credit card balances hit a new record, once again surpassing $1 trillion. That's a 40% increase from the beginning of 2021. Prior research showed Americans went on a spending spree this summer, buying everything from trips to concert tickets.
So we're talking about record levels of credit card debt, record high interest rates as well. The average credit card charges 20.72%. So I think it's all related. We're talking about higher balances, higher interest rates. Inflation is really contributing to this as well.
And experts say credit card debt will likely go even higher now that the holiday shopping season is underway.
Walmart says it is making changes at its U.S. stores to create a calmer experience for people with sensory disabilities. Starting on Friday, the retail giant will have sensory-friendly hours from 8 to 10 in the morning, 7 days a week. During that time, stores will lower the store lights, turn off the radio, and set in-store TV walls to a static image. These measures are meant to provide a less stimulating environment. Walmart said it learned about the benefits of those efforts during a pilot test for the back-to-school shopping period. 5 green innovations have won Prince William's prestigious Earthshot Prize.
Winners include a grassroots project in South America to protect native forest ecosystems across the Andes and a startup that developed a new process for making and recycling lithium-ion batteries. Each winner was awarded about $1.2 million. The Earthshot Prize is a 10-year initiative launched by Prince William's Royal Foundation in 2020.
Well, I'm really proud of the whole team, to be honest. I mean, Earthshot coming from a seed of an idea to where we are 3 years later. The whole point is to provide impact and to make change. But the guys and girls you've met are fantastic. They're the ones at the forefront. And over the next 10 years, we've got to give them the support and all the help we can do so that their impacts are magnified greater than what they're already doing.
And Prince William's goal is to fund 50 solutions to some of the planet's most urgent environmental problems.
Head over to your closest national park Saturday. The National Park Service is waiving all entrance fees for Veterans Day, but you will still have to pay for services like camping, boat launches, or special tours. There are more than 400 national park sites across the country. This is the last chance for free admission this year.
Now, your WLKY weather with Chief Meteorologist Jay Cardosi.
You know, this election day, early evening, almost has a spring-like feel to it. The humidity's ramped up just a little bit. If you look real close, you can see those bugs flying in front of the camera lens right there. So, yeah, we do have that spring feel. The wind is light, temperatures are up. We have mostly cloudy skies. But you have to admit, it is wonderful outside right now. 74 degrees, the humidity 56%. There's that light westerly wind now at 3 miles per hour. Let's go around the viewing area, check out some of the Tri-Mart cameras. North, south, east, west. How about the parkways? Bardstown, E-Town coming in with the low 70s. We're in the 60s. Seymour as well as New Albany. Everybody having some passing clouds at this point in the game. But you know what? No rainfall. It will stay dry. Plenty of upper 60s and or low 70s right now. And just a slow drop on the way the next several hours. Here's your weather in motion. Thicker clouds the farther north you go. Eventually, that frontal system up that way will get here, bringing us some cooler weather, but not until a little later on in the work week. We do have another front that's really right on top of us, just north of the Ohio River, and this thing is going to start turning around and pushing back north as a warm front overnight tonight, and that means temperatures, they are going to skyrocket as we move through tomorrow afternoon. This evening, not too bad, right? Low 70s right through 8 o'clock. We're talking about middle and upper 60s beyond that with some passing clouds, but dry skies. So really some nice weather if you have some errands to run or anything like that through this Tuesday evening. Okay, when you wake up in the morning, coolest temperatures to the north, low and middle 50s, otherwise upper 50s, low 60s elsewhere. That's a pretty nice start as we're getting a little bit closer to mid-November. Here's tomorrow's weather now. We wake up to a few passing clouds, but watch what happens. Those quickly mix out. They're out of here. We're talking about partly to mostly sunny skies midday through the afternoon. Winds really pick up from the south-southwest. It's going to be kind of a gusty day tomorrow, but these are going to be warm winds. Tomorrow's record high in town, 82 degrees. We're going to come pretty close. Everybody upper 70s and lower 80s across the region. Then as we look out to Thursday, another front will be passing through. We'll have some clouds in the morning, then a little bit of afternoon sunshine. Any and all rain chances will be well south. But I should say, the rain you see off to the southwest will likely cruise across our southern communities late Thursday night on into Friday morning. High temperatures Thursday, cooler. We're back in the 60s. This evening, 70s to 60s, mainly cloudy, but comfortable conditions. There's your 7-day forecast. A breezy warm 80 tomorrow. And then we're cooler on Thursday. We'll hover in the low and middle 60s. And really some delightful autumn weather right through the weekend with temperatures around 60 by day and 40s at night. And that's just about where it should be for the time of year.
Good. It's nice.
I like it. We'll take it.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks, Jay.
Several items from the Titanic are going up for auction. How some are shedding new light on the tragedy. Next on WLKY News.
Dinner, check. Cleanup, check. No mess, no stress with Reynolds Kitchens.
Subway is now slicing their deli meats fresh. That's why the garlic roast beef is preferred by this QB.
And preferred by QBs with some beef, like us.
And if we prefer it, we know you'll prefer it too. Wait, we have beef?
So much beef.
Right now, get a free footlong at Subway. Like the new Deli Heroes. Buy 1 footlong in the app, get 1 free.
It's a pretty big deal.
Kinda like me. Order in the Subway app today.
Things always break at the worst time. So when your heat goes out, you need help now. Call Bryant.com. We'll fix what's not working and get you back to what's important in life for all your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric needs.
Call Bryant.com.
Do you want to grow your trucking company while keeping your overhead expenses low? Apex can help. Give us a call today.
This holiday, when you give love, you can't go wrong. With Zales jewelry that's made to love and made to last. Love real. Zales.
Looking at the competition? Let me show you how the Bronco Sport stacks up. The Bronco Sport has a terrain management system with 7 available goat modes. That means goes over any type of terrain, sand, mud, ruts, or any mix of them. I have a lot of gear. The Bronco Sport has a lot of room. With an available 65 cubic feet of cargo space, nothing gets left behind. If you're still thinking about the competition, you're going to want to check out the Bronco Sport.
Here's what you can see tonight on WLKY. Big Brother airs at 8. That's followed by FBI True and FBI. And then, of course, stay tuned for WLKY News at 11. Memorabilia from the Titanic will be auctioned off on Saturday.
Some of the items include this rare first-class dinner menu from the first night on board the doomed ocean liner. It's expected to go for up to $86,000. Another item is a pocket watch that belonged to a Russian immigrant traveling to the United States in second class. The watch is frozen in time from when he entered the frigid water and later died. More than 1,500 Titanic passengers and crew died when the ship hit an iceberg in 1912. The London Zoo is offering a unique holiday experience. You can have a sleepover at a winter wonderland lodge in the heart of the zoo. After checking in, guests will get an exclusive tour of the lion's den before making presents for the animals, toasting marshmallows on a fire pit, and enjoying a behind-the-scenes peek at the zoo's nocturnal residence. It is available from December 18th to December 30th. Neiman Marcus is out with a new list of extravagant gifts for extraordinarily wealthy holiday gift givers.
These are crazy. There's a one-of-a-kind Cadillac, a red carpet experience in Cannes, or hang out with Team USA at the 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris. There's also a chance to star in a Disney animated short with the gift recipient voicing a character based on them. That gift, which includes a ticket to a Disney Hollywood premiere, costs $510,000. Wow. Well, here's what's coming up next at 6.
I'll take any of them, Rick.
Okay.
Whatever you want to buy. Good evening. I'm Vicki Dorch. The polls are just minutes from closing across most of Kentucky and southern Indiana. We have team coverage of the races that will impact your family for the years to come. That's next on the news at 6.